Hey there, welcome to the Speakers Magazine show, and I am your host, Pam Perry. We have a great show for you today, and we're going to really talk about being motivated, being wealthy to come out of poverty and into prosperity. So, we have a guest, Sylvia O'Connor, that we will bring up right after this. Hey there. So let me give you the formal bio of Sylvia O'Connor. Okay. She's featured in this month's Speakers Magazine. And trying this, share the screen so you can see who I'm talking about. And Sylvia is going to be coming up shortly. But I want to give you the formal bio of Sylvia O'Connor. She is brings hope and boundless possibilities to life. Her extraordinary journey, which you'll hear from poverty to prosperity, has made her a beacon of inspiration and a force in the motivational speaking field. She has a journey of courage. Growing up in poverty in Louisiana, Sylvia's unwavering spirit led her to seek a bright future in Detroit, Michigan. Supported by her loved ones, she embarked on a remarkable journey, touching countless lives along the way. She was really empowered through education. It became her guiding light to success. With determination, she earned degrees that left her mark in healthcare while teaching allied health. So, one of the things, too, she was igniting hope and inspiring change. How did she do that? She basically expanded to uplift others, okay? Fearlessly reporting healthcare fraud courageously. She embodied truth and justice. Her powerful book, and she's an author of Living the Abundant Life, imparts wisdom and embrace life's full potential. But she's also a motivational force. So, really venturing into motivational speaking, she found her calling, and her words resonate deeply with her audiences, instilling in them the belief that they can soar to imaginable heights. And one of the things is partnering in love and purpose. So, at the heart of Sylvia's journey, she stands her loving partnership with her husband. Together, they embody strength and genuine connections. But the main thing is that you embrace abundance. And that's her key message, that you unleash your potential and embark on a transformational journey. You can hire Sylvia as a motivational guide to unlock abundance in your life. She has a company, it's called SOAR LLC, and to help elevate you. That's really probably why she named it that. And really embracing abundance lets her know that you can also do an incredible journey of growth and prosperity. So, with that, I just really want to bring up Sylvia right now. There she is. Hey there. I wanted to pull up our basically stop the screen here. I wanted to just pull up your page. You're in this month's Speakers Magazine in the August issue, so that people will know they can go and read it and have a hard copy of it. And basically, I want people to know that you do have. And one of us says, yeah, it says one of the persons on LinkedIn says, "Hey, you should all know you can't beat God giving. The wealth is in the release." All right, I don't know who that is, but someone just said that. Welcome, welcome. And then we have some other people there watching it. So we're streaming over on Speakers Magazine on the Facebook page. We're streaming on LinkedIn, and we're streaming on YouTube as well. And it'll be a podcast. So I wanted people to really know a little bit about you, Sylvia. And when you say you were the extreme poverty, give us the situation where you were, what happened in the middle, and then how you ended up where you are now in terms of the wealth mindset. Was it just education? Was there something that was a fortitude on the inside of you that you can impart to others in motivation and help them soar? Kind of give us a little bit about where it started and where you are.
Well, thank you, Dr. Pam, for having me. I grew up in a small city in Louisiana. We grew up poor, never had enough, just lacked uh, food, lacked a decent place to live. But I always had an aunt that would visit me from Detroit, and she would always talk about Detroit, how there were better chances there. She asked several of my sisters to come to Detroit, and they all declined. So when I graduated from high school, I really didn't have anyone to look up to. So she asked me if I would come to Detroit, and I said yes. So it started when I moved out of my comfort zone. She was willing to help me, and I also had to overcome that poverty mindset of
Mm,
not having enough. So I really realized that I wasn't going to live that lifestyle. So I had that in my spirit earlier. I'm going to do better one day. And when she gave me the opportunity, I took advantage of it. And that was my journey, moving from poverty to prosperity, getting educated, asking for help, and everything
mhm.
else fell in place.
So when you say a poverty mindset, what does that actually mean? Because you hear people always say, "What is a poverty mindset?" Is that someone who just feels like I'm going to be starving? What does that look like? Because people who have it may not even know that they have it. So what does that really look like, or what does it mean?
It means to me thinking short term, thinking lack instead of abundance. When I
Okay.
first got out of college, I accrued a lot of credit card debt because I had the attitude that I grew up poor and now I'm going to buy whatever I wanted. That
Mm.
was a bad attitude and a poverty mindset. So it
Ah,
got me in a lot of debt. So that was my first thought. You have to learn about money and not think of it in terms of lack.
mhm. So the thing that I want people to understand too, that you went to school and you have this attitude of justice, that you really saw some things that weren't right and you called them out. Basically, I think they call it whistleblower, right? So
Yes.
what happened in that situation? If you can kind of elaborate that. I know you elaborated on in the book, but kind of talk a little bit about it.
I was working at a facility. Like I say, I have over 30 years experience in healthcare, and I saw some things that really bothered me. Basically, some things keeping patients longer than they should be in the hospital, bringing patients in that shouldn't have been in there.
Mm,
So I was just questioning that. And by me being an educator, I knew that was one of the things that the OIG looks at every year, certain diagnoses, billing procedures. So I just kind of researched it a little and I left the job because it was becoming very stressful, always talking about admitting patients, like as if I was a doctor or should this patient be admitted? And I just reported it. It took a long time, years, but I was very, persistent that wrongdoing was happening. So I was
mm,
successful, won a nice large settlement. So that was one of my, I said, divine appointments that
mhm,
always do the right thing when no one is looking.
mhm. I like that. Someone just said Detroit. That's true. That's true. She's from Detroit. Well, via Detroit, Louisiana, that back and forth. But
Yes.
that is one of the things where I guess you would say write one out,
Yes.
and something that you called out, it actually became like the, I guess, the equalizer in terms of for you, right? Like the large settlement and that sort of thing. So that took courage to do that. And that was probably where you decided you want to write the book, or when did the book come about?
The book came about, I actually reached just a stagnation point in healthcare and was kind of afraid to move on. But then I realized you're unhappy here. So sometime in order to move up, you need to move out of your comfort zone. So that was my turning point during the pandemic. Everyone was talking about the great resignation, but I really had a revelation that it was time to move on, to do something new. And I was trying to figure out, what do you like doing? And people that really know me know I'm shy, but I do like to talk a lot and I like encouraging people. So that's where I really, uh,
Found your
I would
calling.
say, had my divine calling of being a motivational speaker. So I started training and, I wrote the book to encourage people. Don't let your past determine your future, step out on faith. If you're unhappy somewhere, be patient, be faithful, and God will give you direction.
So, can you tell me of any testimonies or people who've read the book, what they've had experience, or any, I guess you would say endorsements, so to speak, of reading the book and how their life has changed, or even if you've been speaking somewhere, what people have said coming up to you, some of the comments that people have said, because I know, like you said, it's just embarking in a brand new field. You've been in something 30 years, like doing that, and now all of a sudden you're in something new. So, what kind of impact have you seen?
All of the impact has been positive, which kind of scares me some, but I shouldn't be negative because everyone said that's them. They have been afraid to move on from something. One of my girlfriends just cried. She said, I can't do this job anymore. So you gave me so much encouragement. My
Mm.
book was featured for the book club at my church, and the different ladies were saying that was their life. They grew up poor, but they went to school and they moved on, to kind of a different elevation in their life. So
Mhm.
the point is moving out of your comfort zone. Don't be afraid. So everything has been positive so far.
And so why did you name the company SOAR LLC?
Soar because I think of an eagle. You think of
Mhm,
soar, you can only go higher. So
mhm.
that was one point. And my name, Sylvia O'Connor, since I grew up poor, instead of thinking in terms of poverty, it became a personal meaning to say Sylvia O'Connor, always rich. So that was kind of a
Oh,
little personal thing.
okay. All right. I didn't
Yes.
realize that that was the acronym there. So yeah, so
Yes.
that's cool. Sylvia O'Connor, always rich. So that's like an affirmation. Do you
Yes.
use affirmations a lot in your own um mindset daily, or was that something that took you from poverty to prosperity, was affirmations and things like that?
Yes, I would always write on my mirror, I'm going to be a great motivational speaker because it's a new field, but you have to believe in yourself when no one else believes in you, and you have to just step out on faith. So I use
Mhm.
affirmations a lot of Bible verses I stand on also.
So when the chapters of the book, give me like maybe I just kind of like naming your children, like, so give me some of your favorite chapters, I guess you would say, or when you were putting together the book, what was the process, I guess you would say, chapter 1, 2, and 3, or did you have a framework, or was it something that you knew you wanted to impart to teach?
Well, the first three chapters, one was getting rid of the poverty mindset. One
Hmm.
is asking for help. I did ask my aunt after she kept asking my other sisters. They didn't want to go. At the time, I had never been outside of Louisiana. So I took a chance and asked for help. I said, she kept saying, oh, Detroit is so great. And I decided to move. It was an adjustment, but that was one thing, ask for help. One is never too late um, to start your own business, for a personal relationship. I always desired companionship, just working, kind of being busy. So I got married for the first time over age 50. So it's never too late to have your dreams come true.
Wow, that's a
So
that's a
that's,
whole nother book. That's a whole nother
yeah,
book for another time, right? Because there's a lot
yes.
of ladies that married for the first time. I think Dr. Cindy Trim, one of my, former clients, she was married, I think at 60 was her
Oh,
first
okay.
time being married. Yes, yes.
Yes. Yes. And we met at a church. So that was getting out of my comfort zone. I had went to one church when I moved back here, and I wanted to just kind of get out because I'm in a little small city. And I went to this church. My husband, he didn't know he was my husband, but he had just joined too. And I like serving. So I joined the usher board. He got on the usher board and he asked someone about me. And so that's how we met. We ended up being friends for a couple of years, and he asked me to marry him, and I said yes.
Oh, you I
Yes.
love that. See,
Yes.
this is the thing. So 2 times, it's 2 times that I hear Sylvia. So one was like, you just stood on what was right, and you called out fraud that you were seeing at work and won a lawsuit. Other time it's just like, I just want to serve. I'm going to serve, and got noticed by your Boaz, I guess you would
Yes.
say.
Yes.
And 2 years of friendship. Friendship is a foundation, so that was good.
Yes.
And then got married, right, over the age
Yes.
of 50, where most people would think like, "Oh, if I'm over 50, I probably won't get married," but it's like, you know what? You were like, "I'm just gonna wait on God." So that is good. So in terms of speaking, what is some of the favorite, I guess you would say, messages? Who do you want to impart this message to? Is it women over 50? Is it those that living who have lived in poverty or generations of poverty? Who do you see as your ideal person that you really want to share your message with?
Would say women, women that's in poverty, single women, college
Mhm.
students, because I stayed in college. I had some difficult times and wanted to give up sometimes, but it's like, I'm going to leave here with a degree. So
Mm,
basically, just sticking with it when things get hard. So, college students, you have to kind of delay some of the partying and just focus on your goal.
mhm, mhm. So when we say women, then like at women conferences, women, you said that your church had your book as part of the book club. Do you see yourself other book clubs and things like that? Tell me about what you have coming up this fall.
I have a book festival coming up, and also I'm going to be attending. It's called
National.
APCA, a college conference. So I'll
Oh,
get to. I'm going to observe the first year, so I'll probably
okay.
eventually end up speaking there. But it's to college students just starting out, kind of, you know, getting out in the world. So just to encourage them, some things on safety, appearance when you're going for an interview and things like that. Because that's what my professors they taught me. You got to play the role. You have to dress, well in a certain way, conduct yourself in a certain way on the job. Don't go there, gossiping about everyone. So just some things that I learned. So college students, women groups.
Mhm. And one of the things too, I like the Abundant Life cover. So you're going to be at the National Black Book Festival. You'll be there in October in Houston.
Yes.
Gwen Richardson is over that, a good friend of mine. I've known her for probably as long as the festival been around. So I think the festival been around like 17 years, 16 years or something like that. So will
Okay.
you be doing a book talk and signing? What will be your role there at the book festival? And what dates are? Do you know? I can't pull it up right now. I
The
think it's
dates 26 through the 28th. I'll have a
okay.
table. They have different things going on, a conference, networking. So I'm looking forward
Mhm.
to it.
Mhm. Oh, that is good. That is good. So one of the things too, and this is for anyone who has written a book, that you and you're speaking in organizations, and you're trying to get into, is to join associations with like-minded people. So if you're an author, go to book festivals to meet other authors. If you're a
Yes.
speaker, join organizations, because we're the official magazine of the Black Speakers Network. Join Black Speakers Network. Associate with other speakers. So I see Rodney Burris is on the line over here as well. He's been in the magazine. He's actually been on the cover of the magazine,
Okay.
but he knows that he's part of Black Speakers Network. He also is part of some writing clubs. You take courses, all those things, especially if you're making the transition from being in a career where you know that you went to school for that, and then
Yes.
transitioning to an author and speaker and sharing your message. So that is really, really important. So Sylvia, you'll meet probably hundreds of other authors. Some are first time authors, some are authors. Rashana Tate Billingsley, she's written, I think, 53 books.
Oh, wow.
She's from Houston. She'll probably be there. She's usually always there because those are her posse, right? Other authors are her posse. She's written so many books. Uh, she is also the managing editor of the Houston Defender, which is the black newspaper there in Houston. So when you go there, please network with other people, and then people will buy your books, you buy their book. It's a community of people that will support you and endorse you. And I like the Black Speakers Network, the National Black Book Festival. Those are the main two I always tell people to get involved in. Speakers Magazine, I've actually been there, probably spoke like 4 years in a row at the when she was just starting out the festival. help them get started with their Facebook. So making sure that you're sharing things on social media. Speakers Magazine, your video is going to be embedded in the magazine, and it's on the website, and you'll see like the little share buttons up at the top. So even like when people, you see them up right up at the top, even when this particular show is on right now, share it. It's karma, I guess you would say, because the good that you do for other people will come back to you. So I want you to make sure that, like you see this video, it's like, I'm going to share this. What is she talking about? Who is she? You can go to Speakers Magazine, go to the page, read about her. Her information is there, definitely down at here at the bottom as well, that you can see that as well. So one of the main things I just want to say too, in terms of speaking to women, and you said women who, um, I guess you would say one of the things I want to say, women who are down and out. So where would you find those type of women? Do you speak to, go to like prisons, or there's other organizations where, women are shelters. Obviously, they're not going to like shelters try to stay hidden for certain reasons, but do you speak at places like that? I have a friend that actually has a nonprofit where women are, it's kind of like a halfway house when they're coming out of, incarceration, and then they're actually needing a place to live. And so she kind of like does that. So organizations like that, have you found, reaching out to prisons or things like that, or?
Yes, they just had something open here for women that's been a victim of domestic violence. So I'm
Mhm.
interested in speaking to those women to encourage them, and also women that have been incarcerated, you know, to move on from that lifestyle, just to lift
Mhm.
them up, because some
Yeah.
people, if they don't have the encouragement, it's easy to become a criminal, or a career criminal. But I've had people that I've spoken to that, went that route and became successful in life. So that's one of the groups, women that's been incarcerated and victims of domestic violence.
That is really, really good, because people who are, I guess you said, the lowest point, they need someone to show them the way and to really help them and that sort of thing. So are you involved in any groups, any auxiliary, when I say auxiliary groups, like you were saying APAC, I think it stands for Accredited College Professionals.
Yes,
Okay. So what is that group about?
that's college students and different organizations that come together to support college students. So they have a
Oh.
national one, and then one that's kind of in this region, maybe the southern region. So I'm interested in reaching those too, because if I didn't have a lot of guidance in college, I may have just given up. So
Mhm.
I think that's a good place to start also.
Yeah, that is one of the main things of just getting to students, and they have like a, I guess you would say, college success curriculum. I guess maybe the first year for students, they have these college success. One of the motivational speakers, who's really where he got his start, is ET, Eric Thomas, Dr. Eric Thomas. He's Michigan State, again from Detroit area.
Okay.
But he primarily cut his teeth on just speaking to students. And he wasn't young. I mean, at that time, I remember my daughter uh, came home from school one day, and she was like, Mom, you got to hear this guy. He's really, really good. He's a speaker. I'm like, you're paying attention to a speaker? She probably was like ninth or 10th grade. And that was probably 10 years ago or so. And she says, yeah, he was really good. I said, you remember his name? She said, not really. I said, Aubrey, what is his name? She was like, I don't remember. He has a YouTube video. I said, Aubrey, what is his name? She finally said, Eric Thomas. I said, Eric Thomas. So I went to Google, put in Eric Thomas, put it in YouTube, and the video popped up of him saying, how bad do you want it? And it
Okay.
says that you want it as bad as you could breathe. And that became his signature slogan. That became what he built his whole business on. And then he went to Michigan State, got his PhD, but he was also helping students, navigate through college. And that was the video that I saw. He was speaking to students at Michigan State. It went, I think now it's probably over 2 million
Wow.
views on that thing. But that was where a lot of motivational speakers, they always say, if you can speak to kids, you can speak to anyone if you hold their attention. Like I said, when my daughter came home and said, hey, this guy was good, because it's harder to keep kids' attention. So yeah, that's one of the main things. So speaking to students is really good. And what have you found has been the most difficult part of really, I guess you say speaking, I guess you say the speaking industry in terms of making connections, speaking gigs? What has been the hardest part because you just left one kind of career and you're doing this? What has been the thing that you've learned the most?
Just trying to network. Is so many organizations out there reaching out to you, but you kind of have to, do your research and, pick which ones you want to go to. I attended one recently with Dr. Cheryl Woods.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, I may have gotten a link from you,
yeah.
and Trent
That was really
Shelton, and
Yeah, Trent Shelton definitely made, a transition. He was a football player, and
yes,
he had said he didn't even wanna speak, but the message kinda, like, led him that what happened with his best friend that committed suicide, so now he
yes,
speaks on mental health. So everybody has their reason why. And then, of course, Lisa Nichols, she was
yes,
there, and, she again, she's another one. Her and Eric Thomas, I didn't even think about it. They both spoke to teens. Lisa's career began just speaking to teens just like ET speaking to teens. And then also to Gloria Mayfield Banks, also from Detroit too. I don't know if you knew that. She
yes,
grew up in Detroit, and she speaks basically about overcoming things and really being the best. She has dyslexia, but it didn't stop her. She graduated from Harvard with an MBA, and she became the top national saleswoman for Mary Kay for many many years. She just retired, but um, that was a conference that definitely for sure. When I tell you Cheryl and even her sister Cherie, she was there as well. Both of them are speakers. They have a reason why they speak. They're from Baltimore, like Rodney, and they came from poor means poverty as well. And one of the reasons why she didn't finish college, but one of the main reasons why she speaks is to really inspire and empower other people, especially women just like you, to do that. Networking with that, and also too making sure that people join Black Speakers Network is a really good group as well. And then all the people in Speakers Magazine, the all the issues people can read for free. And so just like you're in here and you see your page, Sylvia, you can actually go through and network with all the other speakers as well because their contact information is there. Follow those that have I guess you would say like messages like yours. You can go under that and maybe do webinars together, maybe do telesummits together. But it's like a network that you're in Louisiana and someone else may be in Alaska. I don't know. They're probably
yes.
not in Alaska if they're speakers, but you can do network together within that because everything in here, even the articles and things like that, you can go and network with those other people that have written articles and things like that. So it is really important to network. That's probably the hardest part, but really like the key part because I always say you're just one connection from your next level of success. So really knowing where to go when you go to National Black Book Festival, that's another place where you're going to network with people as well. And that will be a really, really good place. So yeah, what else is there? I guess you would say in terms of a role model that you would see very similar to yours in message or even in delivery that you find. Who is that person?
Wow, it's so many out there. Um,
I would say if you're talking about, I don't know if you know Patrice Washington at all.
and no, but actually Cheryl Woods, I think we had something similar when she said she was in a job every day and she was staying for, the direct deposit. That was kind of me. Like, I'm staying because, okay, I need health insurance. Well, I still have health insurance. I just have to pay for it.
Right.
So, someone that's been where I am, just at a job you don't like and you're afraid to step out.
Mhm.
So the message is just move out of your comfort zone. We always think of the negative, what could go wrong? But, that's usually the worst case scenario. But just concentrate on what can go right and just find your niche and people that's been where you want to go.
Mhm. That's true. That is so
Yeah.
true. I love that. So one of the main things is the last time I have you have the last word to give some advice for someone who is trying to break into the speaking field, what you would say to them. What are some of the steps you did? I, again, write in the book first, and then you put yourself on the speaking circuit and that kind of thing. But I do want to say that when you are doing things because you feel like, you said it a couple of times, a divine calling, stepping out of your comfort zone, you said that, and they feel called, but then you also did some practical things. Give some tips, maybe a couple of them, of what someone could do when they're breaking into a whole new area of speaking, motivational speaker.
I would say get some training. Actually, I got an email from you. I think I started researching you. You probably don't remember me, but I met you years ago at a seminar. I think,
I love seminars.
yes, it was way back. So you sent an email and I kind of judged it like, oh, this is someone just want to make money. So they had some introduction speech and kind of like a first time speakers if you've never gotten on stage. So I got that email from you and
Ah,
you came to pitch for them. And I kind of like, oh, she's not going to call me. So I kept getting email from you and I just got bold. I said, she's been around a while. Let me step out and reach out to her.
I had
So
been around.
just be persistent. No, or don't take no for an answer. It may just mean not right now. And
That's it.
always follow up people with experience that can help you.
That is wisdom right there.
Yeah.
Follow up. That
Yes.
is probably the key. There's a friend of mine that always says that, Melinda Emerson, the fortune is in the follow up, right? She says she's been
Yes.
saying that for years. So the fortune is in the follow up, making sure that you follow up with all of your connections. You will go to conferences and you will go to network. George Fraser, whose conference is going on right now, you collect 1 million business cards, right? It's like
Yes.
follow up with them. If someone sends you a DM, follow up with them, follow up on the email. That is so, so key. So if you're thinking about something, it's like, I like to get featured in Speakers Magazine, hit the button, do the thing, read the magazine, subscribe, research. You said it over and over again, research,
Yes.
because you
Yes.
got to make sure. And the main thing too is that not everything is going to be a hit. So you do have to try. And I always say you got to risk to win, but know your level of your risk, because the bigger. Sherwood talked about that too. She says this was a big undertaking, doing this big conference. She said I was so scared, but it ended up being really, really, really good. But the weeks before, she was like, "What did I get myself into?" But you have to risk to win. So she had to do it. I mean, it was 500 people there, and it was like, are people going to show up? I mean, she's thinking like, of course they showed up, but at a certain point in time, you don't know. So, yeah, that is really, really key. Research, understand that you've got a risk to win, step out of your comfort zone. Sylvia, that is so, so good. So, I want people to make sure that they go to your website, Sylvia-O'Connor.com. You got your name.com. So, that's good. I always talk
Yes.
about that.
Yes.
And so make sure that you do that, and then that you can get the book as well. Get that on Amazon as well, and read about you in the August issue of Speakers Magazine. I want to make sure that people do that as well. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Rodney, for joining us as well. He's all the way from Baltimore over there. So thank you so much for joining us today, Sylvia. And I just appreciate you, and I wish you much success.
Thank you, Dr. Pam. I'm glad you had me. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you. Alrighty, thank you. So that was Dr. Sylvia. I didn't prophesy that she's a doctor, but make sure that you go to sylviaoconnor.com, get her book and all of that. And so with that, I am out of here. I'm Pam Perry. Make sure you go to speakersmagazine.com and get the book and get all the information as well. All right. So we will talk to you later. All righty. God bless you. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.